Welcome back to Sutton Bourbon and Smoke. We're so glad you decided to join us here. I'm Kevin, and I'm here with my two favorite son-in-laws. This is Taylor. This is Forrest.
We're your only son-in-laws.
You're my two favorites.
Oh yeah,
What's that about? Okay.
that makes us his two least favorite. As well.
And we're here with two of our more favorite things. Bourbon. And you can't see behind us, it's a little dark, but the lake's right behind us. So we're glad you're here, and we're here to test out, compare a couple of bottles of Old Elk here. So
I thought for sure you were going to say our two favorite things were bourbon and more bourbon.
that too.
All right, so this is their Old Elk Wheated Bourbon. A little bit about the mash bill. It's actually 51% corn, 45% wheat.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't remember what that other 4% is.
I'm guessing malted barley.
Yeah, I would assume it's malted
yeah.
barley. Yeah, yeah. But it's very wheated.
I think you get that right off the nose. I just stuffed my nose in it while you were still talking because I can.
Yeah. So I mean, we got two different bottles to compare today. We got the regular old small batch Old Elk Wheated Bourbon, and then we also got one of the local store picks. This is from Stateline Beverages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stateline Beverages store pick of the wheated bourbon. So same thing, just putting them head to head and telling you what we think.
Well, I think we don't do a ton of like educational videos or anything, but I think what better time now to kind of explain the difference between a small batch and a single barrel. These are terms you probably see a lot of times when you're out searching for different bottles. So when you see a small batch, there's nothing like super special about those. That is just the distillery taking a whole bunch of barrels. There's no legally specified amount of barrels they have to do to make a small batch.
It's less than 200?
Less than 200, I think, is maybe the only restriction.
Yeah.
And, they blend that together to try to create a very consistent flavor throughout every bottle that they make from those barrels.
Yep.
Whereas a single barrel is just going to be whatever comes out of that barrel. In a small batch, all those barrels are going to taste a little bit different. They're going to be, just a little bit off from each other, but they're blended in a way that makes consistent flavor. The single barrel is going to be that one single barrel that has its own distinct flavor. And, from our experience, they can either be, a lot better than the small batch. They could be worse than the small batch. Yeah. It all depends on the barrel that you get.
Right.
And hopefully, what we're tasting here is going to be a really good one. So.
Yeah.
And I think one of the big things we learned when we were in Kentucky over last Labor Day that I really had not paid attention to, right, is the barrel bourbons are in rick houses, which basically are big barns, and it's not like it's something that's climate controlled, right? It's just an old, it's a big building. It's in the state of Kentucky that gets really, really cold in the winter, really hot in the summer, which really helps the whole bourbon aging process as the barrel contracts and expands. The bourbon goes in and out of the barrel there to get more of the wood flavor. So it can be distinctly different, even right. It's all comes from the same mash bill, the actual same distilling process.
Yeah.
But depending with the barrel and where the barrel's set in the rick house, it can distinctly change. Right. Whether it was lower or higher in the rick house. Again, that's how they can end up with in the master tasters. That's some of the things they look at when they're pulling out some of these, particularly single barrels. So
sure,
100%.
I think you hear it a lot from like Buffalo Trace, and then the ones that make some of those higher end things. They've all got like a honey hole in one of their rick houses where they're like, oh man, we pull bulk things from here to make your BTAC products or your Weller products, or you hear it a lot more with that distillery. But every distillery's they've got their honey holes where they're coming with their higher end product, as opposed to just their regular flagship.
Right. Well, man, as technology has advanced, there's quite a few distilleries now that are climate controlling different rick houses. That are located elsewhere to match the honey hole that you were just talking about.
Yeah, sure. They're trying to artificially create what nature is doing in other rick houses, and
they'll have sensors near that honey hole, and they'll have climate control and other rick houses to make it match that heating and cooling and humidity.
And will it be as good? Who knows?
Man, I hope it is.
I hope it is.
This will be more product for us to buy, right?
Sure, of course.
I hope it is.
But yeah, let's get into the ones that we got here in front of us from Old Elk.
Yeah,
so we're going to try that small batch first and see what we think here. I'm going to grab this bottle and see what we're looking at. Yeah, we got that wheated bourbon. This is coming in at 92 proof, so it's on the lower end.
And I'd say Old Elk's one of the products that I always heard a lot about, but I always kind of passed over in the liquor store. Never jumped onto that, and that's been within the last month we've really gotten Old Elk, right?
Yeah. So I've been hunting some of the the many different Weller products, right? And you scored the Weller Full Proof. You have the Antique 107. I don't have a Weller at all in my collection on my bar cart, but from what I understand, they compare, or the critics compare this Old Elk small batch to the Weller 12-year, right? And being like a heavily wheated bourbon. So.
Yeah, and I think when you kind of think of it in that context, I mean, you're not far off. We had the Weller 12-year as a bar pour at a kind of swanky hotel at one point, and I'm getting some of those similar flavors.
Right.
Obviously a lot of sweetness on the nose because of the wheated mash bill, but.
I'm getting that. I'm getting honestly like a dusty wood. It's kind of weird. There's almost like a sweet funk there.
Yeah. There's something almost but the funk, like something damp about it. Like there's
every wheated bourbon I've had has had that like damp, kind of
musty.
Yes, little smell to it.
Which, I mean, I think for the most part we enjoy. I mean, I enjoy it at least.
Mm-hmm.
But you get a little bit of brown sugar in there. I get a little bit of brown sugar.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, particularly, this isn't going to be for everyone, but I mean, if you like your wheaters, you're going to enjoy this.
I think it's
for me. A lot.
I think it's for me, 100%.
Yeah.
I just, now we're going to have to go in again, but.
I think one of the things I like a lot about this one is, in particular, is, I think, we came out with the ratings at the end, we're going to rate this really highly. It's a great bourbon.
Yeah.
Very readily available, at least in our area. I mean, they've got a lot of Old Elk. They've got several different series that they have out there right now.
I mean, I've seen all their stuff on the shelf.
Yeah, you don't struggle to find it.
I've had to hunt for this wheated bourbon. I think I went to 3 or 4 different liquor stores before I found it.
Yeah,
actually on the shelf.
We just got lucky to be like right in line at that grand opening. The line weaving throughout the store, and we happened to be just plopped right there in front of the Old Elk aisle, so that worked.
And then Kevin and I, we picked up this Stateline pick. At Stateline, we were going there hunting for the Elijah Craig 18-year.
Yeah. Heard
they had it, and then we got there. They didn't have it, so we decided to pick it up to support the store.
Sure, yeah. So. And Stateline right there, of course, as you know, we're in Charlotte, so it's right on the border of North and South Carolina. Yeah. I mean, you could throw a rock into North Carolina from that Stateline beverage.
Yeah.
Right.
So what are we thinking about this one?
Man, so the palate's interesting. So as I sip on it, I like it more.
Sure.
But I'm getting that maple syrup that Kevin was talking about. He was getting on the nose. I didn't quite get it on the nose and get it on the palate now, but
are you on the single barrel right now?
I'm on the small batch.
Oh yeah, and of course I am too.
I'm getting like a maple, cinnamon, like fresh bread on the palate.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah, a little bit of cinnamon on the end. Yeah, a little cinnamon flavor again.
Man, as far as mouthfeel goes, I mean, it's good. It's got good viscosity. I mean, it coats to the mouth.
Yeah.
That's one thing I can appreciate about it. I mean, as I sip it, the more I like it. Right.
Yeah.
What was the proof again? Because it's not.
This one is 96 proof, I think.
I mean, it's light.
92 proof. Yeah. 92 proof. So
it's a good sipper.
And I think it drinks maybe right at its proof. I don't think this is overrun or anything. I mean, I think that's
I mean, if you're getting into bourbon, I'd pick this one up. I know us, we like ours a little bit hotter. I mean, for me, I prefer 100 plus.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll find that with most people that have been in the bourbon game a little bit longer, people that are really getting experience in it are going to like the higher proofs. But I think this is a really good starting point. That around the same proof as like the Elijah Craig Small Batch and a few of those others that are really good beginner bourbons. If you're looking for a beginner weeder, that's a great one, along with Maker's Mark. A few of those that have that weeded mash bill.
I was going to say that, and that's really what drove us to more of that flavor profile, was being at Maker's Mark. It had the Maker's 46, really good bourbon.
Yeah, for sure.
There was one that we actually still have in the bourbon cabinet in there, the kettle corn, that was a local.
Yeah.
Or you could only get there at the distillery when we were at Maker's Mark. Right, a lot of the reason that drove us to Maker's Mark was that our wives wanted to be able to dip bottles.
Yeah.
Not that we were trying to bypass Maker's Mark, but it wasn't, like I said, that really what drove us there.
Yeah.
And man, when we tried, particularly that kettle corn, I mean, definitely sold. And Old Elk has that similar flavor profile.
Sure does.
My dad was a big Maker's Mark fan, so I mean, it takes me back to my youth, drinking bourbon with my dad, as well as that Maker's Mark type flavor, right? That because Maker's Mark has more of that weed type flavor. Yeah. That's a good pick.
Absolutely, and I think particularly when we're talking about the Old Elk, again, it's another chance to mention again that when we're talking about bourbons, there's always this misconception. We're talking about a lot of Kentucky bourbons and stuff that happen. Bourbon doesn't have to be made in Kentucky. This is specifically is made in Fort Collins, Colorado.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good stuff going out there on the West Coast and the mountain region. There's tons of good distilleries that are doing a lot of great things. Old Elk really leading the charge. We're seeing a lot of that stuff out in our area. Yeah. And just happy to have it. So when you're getting into the bourbon game here, just remember it doesn't have to be from Kentucky. There's a lot of great stuff out there. We've got your Penelopes from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Redwood Empire is doing a lot of great things out in California, and of course, Old Elk in California or Colorado.
Right.
MGP putting out stuff in Indiana. So don't just limit yourself if you're getting into it with the lower proof thing. Don't limit yourself to Kentucky. There's a lot of great things out there.
Redwood. Did you mention Redwood?
Yeah, Redwood. I mean, we had the Pipe Dream last week, and I mean, my gosh.
I still haven't had that.
Yeah.
It's good.
Oh, if somebody came up to me and said, "What should bourbon taste like?" I'd hand them a Redwood Empire.
Okay.
The Pipe Dream. That is exactly what bourbon should taste like, in my opinion. So.
Right. Yeah. And not to digress, but back to my top 5. Right. Mm-hmm. My top 5 bourbons were allocated kind of tough to find, which kind of made my top 5. But this is the kind of stuff that I really love about bourbon, is finding those ones that are easier to find, that are out there on the shelf.
Yeah.
The Redwoods, the Old Elks that are out there that you can find, that are really great pours and really great values.
Yeah.
Don't think you have to go looking for allocated bottles to find something that you really going to love, because there are things on the shelf collecting dust that will just knock your socks off.
For sure, 100%.
I think we've rambled on about these two for a while, or at least this. Oh my God! We've gone the same barrel.
What's bottle 2?
Oh no!
I was gonna say, like, I can't tell a difference on the nose.
Yeah.
That's because you're not smelling right.
So
listen.
What's the proof on the Stateline compared?
Now I will say, now that they both had a little bit of time to air out, right? I am getting a little raisin on the small batch that I wasn't getting before.
So again, as a reminder, 92 proof on the small batch. This single barrel is coming in at 114.6 proof.
Oh, okay.
So we have a considerable step up for the Stateline Elite. And if you don't get that on the nose, you're not smelling correctly. I know bourbon is to be enjoyed the way you want to enjoy it, but if you're not getting a difference here, you're not doing it.
Well, I'll tell you, man, I'm really trying, but
here, try mine.
I'm still getting that. I'm still getting that musky,
Oh, it's super musky. I just think
it's Rick House. I mean,
I think
it's
there's
good.
more depth. I think there's more depth. I think it's a bolder, more robust form of the small batch. Like I don't think it's a ton different in the profile. It's just bigger.
Yeah, I'm not getting nothing on the nose. I'm gonna have to taste it and tell the difference.
Yeah, no, I just hit it, and
I don't know what I'm
talking about. The finish is just, oh my gosh, it just keeps going. It's a long finish.
Oh,
It's
man.
What a great finish this one is.
That proof, that extra proof, like that small batch Old Elk, like we said, is great. If you're going to start off with that, that's amazing. If you are more experienced, God, that extra proof is going to take you exactly where you want to go.
100%. This Stateline pick is fantastic.
Yes.
And that's all. All credit goes to Forrest. There were a couple different bottles I picked up at Stateline. I said, "Oh, what about this one? What about that?" I really think you ought to get the Old Elk. I really think you ought to get the Old Elk. And, oh, what about this one? Then I don't even remember the other bottles because they had quite a few bottles I didn't have there. And Forrest kept saying, "Nah, I would get the Old Elk." The Old Elk. And man, what a! Again, it's not a price thing, right? Because that wasn't the highest price thing in the store there.
What do we pay for these? Like that was $54.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fairly inexpensive.
Yep.
Or right there in the middle range. I mean, but man, I'm almost getting like a Raisin Bran cereal, on this. I mean, it's what's that bread? That cinnamon swirl bread that Pinterest Farm makes. Man, that's 100%.
Oh man, I think they literally just call it like
bread?
cinnamon swirl bread.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like you get the cinnamon. Sometimes you get the cinnamon raisin, but like the cinnamon swirl bread is. Oh,
yeah,
that's it.
with the raisin in it, that's what I'm
Yeah.
getting.
But the difference in the
100% on this.
proof?
Yeah.
I mean, it does not drink it drinks less than 100. What did you say, 112 proof?
This is 114.6.
Oh my goodness.
So I think
Damn,
it
that's
is.
good.
I think you do get the proof distinctly, of course, higher than the small batch, but still, I don't know that that's 114.
It is so
Yeah.
smooth. It is.
Yeah,
just
the
like
taste
it's
is
creamy.
Yeah.
It's creamy. It really is.
Man, they're crushing out there at Old Elk. Plus, it gets really cool cork. Looks like a elk antler out here. If you've ever been out to Colorado and you've seen the elk, man, fun times. Get out there to Rocky Mountain, Estes Park area. You have a good time. So this is, of course, again, like I said, Fort Collins, lovely town, home of the Rams, Colorado State.
I got a problem with it.
Yeah. Yikes.
You're empty.
Well,
and
I think that's our cue, folks.
If I wasn't hooked to that mic, I would be pouring me some more right
You're
now.
not hooked to a mic at all. You've been drinking too much.
Yeah.
That's my mic. Did I take it off?
That is, of course, our cue. We're going to pour some more while you guys enjoy whatever you're sipping on right now. I hope you are having a great night. Drink responsibly. Enjoy what you got. If you enjoyed what we're doing here, like and subscribe. Tell us what you like about what we're doing. Tell us what you don't like. But actually don't. And just tell us what you do like. Because we don't want to hear that nonsense.
Like and subscribe. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Cheers.